So most salespeople, even the good ones, make a critical mistake when setting appointments. They ask surface level questions, they accept surface level answers, and then they wonder why the lead doesn't show up, doesn't buy, or says they're just looking. But in this video, we're going to fix that, because I'm going to walk you through the 5-question flow that is used by top performing teams in the home improvement industry to take casual inquiries, even sweepstakes, walk-ins, or cold calls, and turn them into committed, high-stick appointments. And this isn't just for the quote-unquote bad leads. This is how you should be setting every appointment every single day. See, most reps are trained to set appointments by checking boxes. They'll say, what's the project? Are you the homeowner? What day works best for you? But what they're not trained to do is to uncover the emotional reason the customer reached out in the first place. And that's the problem, because need is what makes the appointment make sense, right? If there is no clear need, or worse, the rep never uncovers it, then the homeowner doesn't feel any urgency. And when there's no urgency, the call gets pushed off, the visit gets cancelled, or the deal just dies, right? So if you want appointments that show, demo, and close, then you need to follow this exact flow. But before we get into it, there's only one rule that you need to follow before you ask any of these questions. Don't try to sell, just try to understand. This isn't about tricking the customer into, saying yes. It's about giving them the space to realize, in their own words, that something in their home isn't working the way they want. Because when that realization comes from them, you won't need pressure, you won't need tactics. The urgency builds on its own. So let's get into it. The first question is, what are you noticing that you're not too crazy about, right? Now, this is your opener. It's soft, it's polite, it works because it doesn't assume anything. You're not saying to them, what problem are you having? Or you're not saying, what's broken? You're simply creating the space for the customer to share with you what's bugging them. And the second that they say something, anything, you've then got your entry point, because here's the truth. Nobody fills out a form, enters a sweepstake, or talks to a rep at an event if everything's perfect. There's always that seed of dissatisfaction, and your job is to pull that out gently. So the second question is, where are you noticing that issue the most? And now is where we're starting to zoom in. This question takes a general complaint like it's drafty or it's cramped and attaches it to real life. If the issue is in the bedroom where their kid sleeps, or in the bathroom where an elderly parent uses, now that pain becomes emotional. And when that pain becomes emotional, the urgency starts to rise. You're not just talking about windows anymore. You're talking about someone not being able to sleep, or feeling embarrassed when guests come over. That is where the urgency lives. Then the third question is, how long has it been going on? And this is the most underrated question in the entire flow, because once your lead gives you a timeline, you've got leverage for later. If they say, it's been going on for a couple of years, then at the end of the call, when they say, we're not in a rush, now you can circle back calmly and say, I understand, but I just remembered that you mentioned that this has been happening for 2 years, and I'd hate for you to, go another winter like this, right? And that's not pressure, that's logic, using their words, not yours. That's what makes these type of things land. So then the fourth question, you're going to say, what have you done to cope with or work around this issue, right? And this is where the frustration starts to build up, because, if they've been dealing with something for months or years, they've probably tried something, right? And more than likely it didn't work. Maybe, they're putting towels down. Maybe, they've stopped using the space altogether. Maybe, they'll just tell you, hey, we've just been dealing with it. Whatever their answer is, you now have evidence that this issue isn't just real, it's ongoing. And that's where they're more likely to feel like, yeah, you know what? Maybe it is time that we actually do something about this. And that's when the appointment makes sense to them and not just to you. And then finally, for question 5, you'll say, have you had anybody take a look at this to see what might be going on? And you only ask this question once you've actually had them admit the issue. Because if you haven't uncovered the pain yet, then you're going to completely scare them off. But if they've told you that their deck is rotting or their windows were open, then now this question is going to start to shift the tone. Suddenly, it's not just about, what they already know is wrong. It's about the things that, they maybe didn't know, right? And when a person realizes that there might be some hidden damages or missed cost or safety concerns, then that urgency can start to spike again. And look, you haven't pressured them. You've just helped them consider something they hadn't thought of. So with those questions out of the way, let's take a step back. These 5 questions, when used in order, take a casual inquiry and turn it into a meaningful conversation, right? You're going from, I'm just curious to actually, yeah, this does suck and it has been bothering us for a while, right? And that's when the appointment doesn't feel like a favor to you. It feels like a relief to them. And when that happens, they're going to show up, they're going to listen, and in most cases, they're going to buy, right? And if your team isn't using this type of need uncovering flow right now, then you're probably setting too many soft appointments, ones that cancel, they ghost, or they just kind of stall for a super long time. So give your team this script, practice it, and make it a part of every appointment setting process, whether it's a brand new lead or someone from 2 years ago. Because at the end of the day, people don't need a sales pitch. They need someone who actually understands what's going on in their home and why it matters to them now. So guys, again, if this helped, hit subscribe. We break down, what's actually working to help home improvement companies close more deals from the leads that they already have. And we'll see you guys in the next one.